Okay. There we go. Doing it.
Welcome to Sunday Go-To Meeting, where we
You should be in bed. You've done a lot. There we go.
Welcome to Sunday Go-To Meeting, where we press this button which produces a random faith, active or extinct, always real or eternally fictional, grandiose or petty as fuck. And once the faith is randomly determined, we will listen to the homily of the week from the pastoral agent of that particular faith, and we will employ discernment on its message to extract what relevance and value it has for our lives. Now quick, these subways just upped their fares, and I hear at noon it's gonna go up to $4.75. What type of world is this when public transportation overtakes the production cost of a McGriddle? Pressing the button, it hums and pazoozes us, and dings a lever for you to grasp with your hand and pull down for the random faith of the week. Poverty? Well, yes. Yes, indeedy. And the greatness of it shall make it so all other sins become minuscule in the scheme of sinhood. It is the true Alpha and Omega, the beginning, middle, and end. Let us pray. Bow your heads, you with the roaming eyes down. For this humble poverty will provide a path for you as a child, as the parent. For what is poverty but a mother or a father who, though incapable, may still love the child with all its squalling need, and through a series of chance and luck, give that child everything. Forgive and forgive and forgive again. Forgiveness in the face of impossibility. So it is with the grace and blessing of poverty. A chance, the only chance there will ever be. A gamble, yes. No, the game, the very fucking game itself, it's here, and we got a foot on the ladder, baby, and by golly, let's all give it a shot. The next stop we can make is in another religion for you. So let us select a religion. And I hear what? Who? The one that's right? That sounds reasonable enough. Who wouldn't want to believe in yes? That would sound lovely. But what about, of course, that's fine. Let the train of the mind chug to its final stop-ho, I suppose, if you must. All right, fine. Press the button. What the foo? What's so weird? How much money do I need? Do I really owe $8 in taxes from a month ago? But what about that old bill where I was still married? Oh man, why doesn't this shit have some sort of appeal, like a coupon? Yeah, that'd be sweet. 9% off a bill just for the weekend. I mean, what kind of crazy, arbitrary number is that anyways? A person just doing his taxes, and then just like that, it goes from being the small thing that everyone just needs to deal with, like it or not, and then suddenly it's all crazy, all these emotions. This is what they did to us on the 4th. These fucking taxes, who even pays attention when things start changing a nickel or a penny here or there. And I guess we just never stopped them, because that's when everyone just said, okay, let's be honest, no one's got any time for that anymore. Now that's freedom and democracy. It's just like they told me. All this time you can't get it back, but you don't lose it. All this time the people who control this thing can change it whenever they feel like it. I always knew things were just, different somehow. The way I grew up in a world which could just do stuff like that. How can things just be so big, then suddenly so little, and then all of a sudden be bigger or smaller? That's impossible, but it's happening. Well, it's definitely real when it's your family, your house, the money in your hand. That's all the freedom I have. That's mine. Those numbers are mine. Mine know it can't be true. That just makes me the slave of this number and the ones behind it who owns me now that it says here. 58 bucks in the red. How much was in the checking account last Monday morning? Oh, right, I don't need that money. Why? It's just money. Oh, you're right, it could be more, of course. It has to be something important to make it seem as huge and terrible and real. Like that one year, my dad couldn't pay. We didn't starve, though. No one was sent off to a camp or an island. He paid late, and the next year it was the same deal. Oh, sorry, here, let me fix this right up and so. Then I started asking around for ways to raise money, to earn it. And now I work. Why is it still this horrible feeling? Isn't it easier now? I have a job now, I just need to remember. What was it my father always said? That's right, we'll work. Yes, we can work on this. But how is the number real? Do they think that just 'cause it says 58 bucks, now that it makes me bad forever and ever? Who even thought that that was something which needed a name? Now here we see a great deal of the value in all this, and I hear you saying, oh, I can never get back to that innocence. All those simple joys are dead like 1,000 years. Sure they are, for a second. So that second ends, and now what? Now it's on your face, a stain that stays on there like all sin. The sins of tax collection, taxation, all because of this. Who are you even supposed to believe to do when this happens? And you're a citizen, aren't you? Or do you need more from the system now, more proof that no one controls these decisions? Or, I mean, you could believe that the money's it's a part of everyone. I don't feel that good. I guess I won't pay any at all. No, I have to. This one time they just got mixed up. Oh shit, here they come again. How will you pay? Well, you said it was mine. Yeah, but you owe it. And it's a little more. So, well, that's not what we agreed to. What am I going to do? I didn't know. It's a new president now. The country runs this way. It'll be fine when all debt is forgiven. Oh, don't talk like that. Just accept it. But I can't. The number won't fit into my budget until I do what? You gotta stop feeling guilty. There's just too many of them. Just don't pay them back. What would happen? How is that any different from what you're doing already? Oh, but it's a matter of time until you end up the same dough. Think like that it gets easier. The number is nothing. You'll have more next year. Maybe they can help or wait. Well, if you're sure there is only the smallest amount, I guess I could do just a fraction of it. It can only go away. No, I shouldn't. Well, that would be a good start. Maybe a little bit less than half. Yes, of course. If it were really so large, it would just stay that way, unless it shrinks. If this one is this big, then half of it will become 1/4 of the whole, and it's already happened. So I guess it can't get better or worse than that now, but it's not just my debt, though. They can't just make the number shrink itself. Of course, that's ridiculous. That's insane. There has to be some other solution. The number needs to become so large we'll never get out. It has to be bigger before it gets better. Of course, that's not good for me. I can't do that. No, I'll need something else. Something else. Maybe they have that in my budget if I go looking hard enough for it. Press the button for another religion. This time select at random. Okay then. How can I argue with you? Let's see what this thing brings. No. I didn't hear anything. You? Okay, sure. Well, let me take that. Thanks. Oh, this was made in China. Well, I hope they paid their taxes at the port and on the ship. Oh, that would make me a pirate. A very modern pirate at that. You press the button and hop into this space of random faith in the all-encompassing singularity of negative money, brought to you by Navient which provides loan consolidation for all the religions, for all the time you need to pay them off. All that can help you pay for college or loans that are needed to work at college or a place near college so you may enjoy college without working. For the people who need to pay off student debt from working, which is used to help people pay for going to college or the cost of paying your rent while going to college. For the time when you need a car, because of course you cannot go to college until you get your jet for being a dropout. For any student debt left over which still lingers long after you graduate, you must not be trying hard enough. For all student debt which lingers even longer than the duration of time you would spend in law school. Aviate is the company where we all belong. Let me ask you what I think the people will feel when they hear it. You know, the whole time I thought people would be mad, but they never are, just surprised, which is a great thing, a great surprise. An exploration of the unregulated industry of private loans. Let's listen to a little piece of history that goes back and reminds us I just can't believe what we did. We thought we were good at handling everything like it was our responsibility, which of course it is, to pay for these students who went and made the mistakes that they made. It such a shame it had to come to that. But then people would say, what were you thinking? Like, yeah, I was thinking, that's so much money. How am I supposed to find that where?
Oops.
Loans so predatory. Now the real thing that comes from that? Oh, you think this isn't so real?
My bad.
Loans so predatory they deserve to be put on an offender registry. I remember my loan application was filled out incorrectly, so it was denied, which means I would have to fill it out correctly. How hard can that be? Just one little form. But I just couldn't seem to do it right. Oh, but then suddenly, out of nowhere, there appeared an option which said, apply anyway. They had a button, and there was a link. Oh, okay, I did it wrong. That's okay. There's a button on the web. There's no problem if I didn't get it right the first time. Oh, no. Don't worry. Just let me make sure. Here, I can find it's all sorted now. There is a place that says, just fill out all your info again with all the correct numbers. I don't know how the loan people didn't pay enough attention, or maybe, yes, that's it. Maybe they knew they could get away with not checking those little boxes or giving any explanations to me. Yeah, that could be true. It wasn't my fault, it was theirs. They should have paid more attention so we could all avoid this situation. Which, of course, it would take just one person who noticed or spoke up to change the whole world. One brave soul who was willing to question the system. It couldn't be me, or anyone like me. I'm just an average citizen. They should have known. They shouldn't have just pushed for whatever they could get, just to make a profit. Forget about everyone else. No, it's just business, just doing their jobs, getting paid to do the same stuff as me, only slightly less in number. That's just not fair. How is it not fair? Everyone has to get paid. I suppose this means that they are being paid by those of us who do not work with any of them, around them, or next to them, or over them, not on any teams. Of course they have to, if they wanted to have a job. I guess you're right, I did too. But that was different. I'm an ordinary person, they should understand. and not blame us. What else could we do for the victims then? Then we need someone who works there. Just an employee? To what? Speak up. Why? Well, they must have something going for them. Some knowledge of these processes. I mean, that would only happen if they spoke up, though. Oh, that could be nice. Well, that would never work. It wouldn't happen. There would be another button. Or it wouldn't matter. No, we would get stuck in the system. Not our fault. We were forced by the system. And now, and it would get even bigger now. And who knows where all this will go? What happens? Who knows anything anymore? So, what now? What happens with the student loans? You see, this is what happens when students are not educated about the system, about how it works, how we can control it. That would be great. There could be another part where we have a system which controls people's expectations, like how we did on the housing crisis, which, yes, I know, I don't have money, but still, that would have saved me. But that never happened. We didn't do that. We should have done that. I think this should be a new part of our government. It needs to be fixed because what good am I going to do when everyone says there is this debt? We are responsible. I am. We all are, so I can't even imagine not getting involved. It just isn't right. And besides, now that all this is so small, it'll only get bigger and bigger, like in the way you think. The less a person knows how to pay off debt, the more he'll get in debt, and that's just the way we live. The system doesn't need to change. It just needs someone better qualified than me. Oh, of course I'm the one. That would never happen. Of course it will. No, it won't. I'm not the one to help. But what about this number I feel? If I am not, who then? Who will but how? There is no point. No, I'm right. No, it makes perfect sense. A person could make the change from the inside just to save himself. It would be the best thing for him at home, I mean. It must be. We have these feelings, and so we just know, and there will be some, I am sure, who could just fix this for us. Maybe all they need is a small incentive, or just a little hope in the form of some encouragement, a chance at saving themselves. That would be great. We'd be okay. I have to do my duty as the average, regular person. Someone has to take action. The problem is with this lack of control we have over how this works. It's always been that way, and I can only control my little piece. And all. I want us to have just this much, and how come it's so small? It was all so nice until that one number. But that must be just how we are. Because of the system, because it isn't working. If I had just tried to, of course, it wouldn't be good. The debt is bigger now anyways. Of course. But then they should have been looking more at all of it. How can it just grow so much? There is nothing stopping it. Here is where we discuss Jubilee. There are more loans in the world today. Just as many or more than there were 2 generations ago. How does that make any sense? I can only imagine what will happen to those left over to deal with all this debt in another 20 years old. I hear you speaking of it. It must be a mistake. They must have misunderstood or just overlooked or forgot. That can't be true. This can't be real. It must be a trick, a scam. That's impossible. That is just, it doesn't. I mean, that would just make them all villains, evil. And of course, you know, the whole time, all I could think was, this isn't possible. These loans just don't exist. You were asking me all sorts of stuff about this, and it seemed like it was so simple, like, well, it just had to be wrong. It had to be fake news, something which wasn't real. Oh, yes! And now the people, all they ever wanted was, you know, freedom, or something to do with this and that, and just, you know. That feeling where there is no way this could all be true. No, it couldn't. It simply can't be the way it is that I'm telling you. Oh, well, that's a great question. Yes, the number is real. Oh, yeah. No, of course. This has to be true. I have already seen them talking about it on TV. Of course. They were there to talk about this. They did not say anything about canceling. And it was right on top. The top. Just like that. How it happened. Like we had forgotten how it started. But now you see what the news people said. So if the news people say it, then it must be true because we all believe in them, even though there is nothing that says you should believe. Just a belief, which, well, what's next? We're told to believe it and that we must accept it all as real. So if they talk about it on the TV, about it on the news, then you will see you must pay more attention to them and the TV, or at least just the news, and that is all you must do, and not to look any farther than the first page, or even think anything too crazy. No, there cannot be. There could not, for all that. No, but then we have this now. This number must be paid, I have a 12. Yes, they should fix their number. Oh, yes. This was what had been discussed. That makes sense. Now this is clear enough. You all know that. There should be another part. I suppose they'll take care of it in some other form. You see, that would not happen. That would mean they would be doing their jobs, which means it could all get sorted out. It can still be better, maybe not this time and certainly not next. Because the people who run these processes know, because the government, and they need money, it needs the numbers to grow. It can't go backwards or downwards or sideways or up and sideways. Or back. It needs to just keep going, so I don't see what the problem could be. Just get more, then everything else can get done. It is just as much work as any of us, but it also seems like something that only works. I don't know. There is nothing else here. It isn't a lie. It's the way it works, or it would all have broken down long ago. It could be worse, right? I mean, it could all not exist, so I'm pretty lucky. And the other people, they feel the same. They understand that we owe. So the number can be this small. So that number, and so long as they know that, so what? That does not explain what the problem is. Because that's why they are always asking you over and over. But you didn't ask for any explanation, which should also mean it would work and not break. And the person has no idea. Really, it can only mean what? But you didn't expect an answer. They're all confused about the debt. Why would you say anything to them? I'm the one they trust with money. I could fix it all. And I don't like it when things feel bad. And I feel so bad when this stuff happens, especially now. And this could have been handled differently, but this debt, you just need to fix your mistakes now, and they should just go ahead and leave you believe us all alone. They just don't understand how all these processes and institutions are set up now because they never had any kind of plan. Well, now the situation has changed, and what if something went wrong? Well, now the number isn't that big. It's all fine. Nothing has gone wrong. And besides, I did try. So, well, they should be careful about that word. They don't want to upset themselves with what all can happen. It won't make things any easier. No, of course it wouldn't. It has to stop. We must be saved from ourselves. But what did I expect? No one is going to listen to me. Of course, everyone is going to be mad. They'll blame it all on us who know more or less nothing at all about the process. Why does this always have to be our job? But that's not enough. I know what I did. It should not have gone wrong in the first place. I think it was me. Well, I think I should have stopped this and made a change or two, or maybe we could fix one small thing. We've tried, haven't we? And look what a mess we have made of the world. Well, then maybe, yeah. I mean, what can I even do? The person must try again. He could be someone else in the future, and maybe he is not the villain, he's the good guy. He's just not in control. If he is a different person from today, tomorrow, or any time in the past when I didn't know, and then I was him, or no, he isn't going to say yes or no to anything else, and it's because he won. Did he ever try again? How dare we blame him? And that was also all true. This is all true. You may trust me. It is all happening to me right now, all around me. In the house, there is no reason at all to go anywhere now, because when I open the door of the house to the street, it will only be one step in another room. So just go back to what's inside the walls. You can hide behind the chair. Jubilee has been announced. Oh, that's the best news ever. Thank goodness it came so quick. Maybe people like me who don't even want to have to worry about this anymore don't have to either. It's all been decided. Well, what a mess we're in. Instead is really, it must be, it's a tragedy. Oh, yes. It just wasn't good for anyone at all. I was just wondering, how can we save anything from all that? What were we going to do? I mean, I guess I just needed the help because there is no way that I could do it on my own. I was not even sure. It seems impossible now. What we owe to what? To the universe. We need a sign that it will all be okay again. The way we live. How much? Oh, it was simply too much. All of it. The loans, the debts. I couldn't have taken one more. And how they just grew so easily, out of control and unregulated. How do you know? I can't believe it. This cannot be possible. This news is so unreal that I feel like it can't possibly be real even if it's true. But they can't just ignore me. It would need a better explanation of how all this came to be. They must understand me and my needs, and so they must help me pay off this debt. And they can do that easily, like in less than 3 months. How come they just got to get so many people into debt and made it sound like it was all our fault? That's not true, but you're probably just a fool. I've never understood that word. Fool? I have never used it, never even considered it. No, I just don't see how they thought that this was something they could ever expect of us. But, well, what does that have to do with that debt? Nothing, but that's good. So that debt is still the same, except it has been fixed to be lower. And that will only mean that you'll have more time before paying it off for yourself now. See how all your problems, which aren't really yours at all, they don't affect you personally. Oh, I don't even know that I understand what that even means. I'm happy. So happy. And that's a new feeling that I don't remember. But somehow, even after all the debts have been forgiven, and I think I can get a good discount at a store which sells the new stuff, and all this new debt even in all of our lives, it seems better. So there! Yes, you can buy what you like, even after all the problems of those last 2 weeks. Well, it wasn't just you who was having this trouble, but it also wasn't me. Because it only affects me if the system doesn't work. And I was always the one most likely to break it. Or I was always the most vulnerable one to have ever faced that kind of pain or anything like this. I have been a victim of something, not this problem. Nor was it the government, though there may be a solution in all of us. Regarding the physical ailments due to debt, it doesn't matter. The debts have been paid. The problem is over now. And you have forgotten already why you had anything to worry about to begin with. I mean, I have no idea why you brought this up, and frankly, I think you should just leave it alone. But you're welcome. Maybe it is time for some real solutions, but that was something else. So please stop thinking that debt is a part of your physical state. There's no need for this. So that's nice. I can feel myself getting better. Reg- Yeah, well, Don't try that nonsense on me, okay? Please keep quiet. Now, if we could just work on a plan of action to actually start paying off this debt and fix this problem. You'll just have to accept your fate as a delusional fool who does nothing. You'll never amount to anything, no matter how hard you try. Why try so hard to fight for someone like yourself? Maybe they'll get it right this time and find a way to finally help us with this thing. Regarding how the debtors themselves are deep in debt. I am sick with this disease called delusion. There is no cure for me because it seems impossible to cure such a horrible monster. I can never get it out of me, and it's because I'm just an evil person. Yes, I'm just so rotten at heart that I need to be forgiven. But then there isn't a plan of action anywhere near that level. You won't be saved from yourselves or from this illness. This sickness of the soul cannot be removed. But I know it must be true because that's just the way life is now. There can never be an escape, so I'll never know when I've gotten free. And this makes it sound so much worse than it actually is. This must be true. This must be true. So how you think you are going to be okay? And why is this happening? Oh well, if I just had a little more. I'm glad I asked for the check. But this number just goes up and up, it seems, and maybe that's the way it's always been, and maybe I didn't need to be here in the world to have to pay off my own debt. It doesn't matter anyways. Jubilee is coming. It's all over now. You can take credit or blame for this debt, because you are so sick I'd give anything to see you gone, no matter how stupid a fool you are. That's why I love to look in their eyes, to watch them suffer. Because this is what it comes to. Everybody owes something, no matter who we are. It's the worst thing ever. And I'm not proud of myself, not really. And it isn't right for them to think this could ever happen again. I'm going to be back soon to check on this debt of yours to pay the final bill, which will be in a box. Or I could leave the box right here at your door. It feels good now to be right next to my computer desk where I was only trying to work out some of these thoughts I had been having. Well, I just got busy and then things happened. There was always something that would be happening to try and get myself into a state of mind where I could actually just let myself try to deal with all this debt. And now suppose if they want to forgive any portion of this thing, even though I've been a bit scared lately because I'm really afraid I might forget about myself and I would do pretty much everything I could. It seems like an awful thing. So, yes, you might as well keep an eye out because they want you to know that everything is going to be just fine. It seems that we're lucky, the problem is over, and everyone is happy. This is a relief that they're okay now. I'll just try and relax. Let us try to get this out of you as quickly and safely as possible without getting into any unnecessary trouble. This debt isn't yours. Now, if they only had another word for it, something we can understand in the context of these problems so we could see how much they are not like themselves, then it won't bother you for too long as if they were all gone. No, it's true. It wasn't even that hard. Well then, how much do you think I would want to keep on? Monetize ourselves? There's no way. It's just that I don't see how this is even possible. We've been struggling for too long. Maybe if we had a solution. But we don't even have time for that. No. What would that solve for? How can you monetize yourself? I've never heard of it before. So let me ask you, why not just take advantage of the credit and pay it all off? Like we know it's just a part of life. But hey, there's no point in arguing when there's nobody else here. Maybe I can find someone else to talk to. maybe they'll agree that we all are just trying to escape that for a little while. That's not true. But the thing is, how many people will say no to this kind of thing? If we're so good at doing all these things as it sounds like they have no idea, then why should you ever worry again? Just monetize yourself and all will be well. The problem is who is going to teach us this kind of thing? And if you do, then what? Well, then that's just something you can do later. It'll come in handy at some point. It's okay, we'll figure it out. You just keep your cool for now. There's plenty of time left for us to take care of ourselves, and if anyone needs help, which won't happen, they'll come to you for that. And maybe we could use all this as part of a process, but that means nothing. Monetize the aspects of you that have worth. Wow! Is that something that can be done? I never knew anyone wanted to do such a thing. Is this the solution we need? Oh, I wish I knew how to do that. Then we could have a plan, a better one, so that we could live happily. This would certainly solve most of my issues, or even all of them. And yes, maybe it would be a good thing for me, even if it seemed like it might hurt a little, or maybe more than just a little.
Can we stop it?
Welcome to Sunday GoToMeeting, where we press this button, which produces a random faith, active or extinct, always real or eternally fictional, grandiose or petty as fuck. And once the faith is randomly determined, we will listen to the homily of the week from the pastoral agent of that particular faith, and we will employ discernment on its message to extract what relevance and value it has for our lives. Now quick, these subways just upped their fares, and I hear at noon it's gonna go up to $4.75. What type of world is this when public transportation overtakes the production cost of a McGriddle? Pressing the button, it hums and passes us, then dings a lever for you to grasp with your hand and pull down for the random faith of the week. The Church of Monetizing Myself. Hallelujah. Thank you, Lord Jesus. A new branch of our own very own. Now there's never been anything like it. This church isn't like a storefront church. Its branches have been sprouting from everywhere in this country, and they say the best places are growing. People are joining from everywhere around this country, and they come because the preachers speak with authority. And who, may ask, is that? We're glad you asked, because there's no need to introduce me further. It is my brother, John. He is here this morning to tell you about what he feels is going to happen, what happened to us already. Now some of this I already know, because I remember when they started selling us the idea, they started selling us a brand new way. We've been looking up to this man for years and years, since we can remember, since he was just starting out back in 2010. Back in the day, that wasn't much. He wasn't going to become anything big. I mean, I saw that coming. We knew him before then. So he had plenty of time, but it didn't take long. It all came to him. I'm certain I was there for that. It was my idea to start something new. I wanted to do better, so I decided to help get this thing off the ground, which made his vision even bigger, better. Now we can really show off. His work became Martwell known throughout our community and other areas too. He can speak to millions in a second if he says so. There's all that is ours, all his work. Here he is. Bishop Lamar Whitehead enters. The bishop is here. Welcome. Please tell us about this amazing church. Your story. How you arrived there. What's it been like being on top? Why, yes. Lamar Whitehead. You don't have to tell me nothing. I already know about who we are, what our story was and all. I can see it here on your computer screen. It's all right here. This church doesn't have a history per se. Not like other churches, because it exists now. But then it always existed before it began to take a true form, an actual one. That's when things got good for us, and that is also when it went from just we want to make money to, hey, let's try putting this on the market. So it's been good, but it's not going to be easy. As I always say, you gotta make some money fast, then make it fast so that you can buy yourself a good life. One you'd like, a nice place, maybe a penthouse apartment overlooking Manhattan Island. Someplace great like this. Maybe that will be you one day soon. Who knows? I say that now, and I do this all because I'm still struggling here and it won't take long. But then again, it may take longer, and yet maybe not. Maybe it only needs us to put more pressure onto it. The point is, once we've accomplished our mission, this entire nation will see the truth about what we're saying. This entire world will follow us into the future, because we don't even begin to know who we are. Or at least, I sure didn't. I know that. That is just true for us right now. I just got to say that. I can see it here, everywhere, and if that means something, it should really matter to you, because there are things that are real for me. They are real. Real. That's a strong word, a powerful word. And it means to be able to actually exist in the here and now, as in the here and there. I am talking about here in this room and on the ground. They're on Earth in real time, but in this new future, it's an ancient art. I mean, it must be really old, but I don't really remember anymore. Wait, did it? Why was that? I was so young, so innocent, but so naive. A stupid bastard. That's right. You see, I wanted nothing more than to just make money fast. Now you see the result of my failure. No, that's fine. Because my failures are what makes me realize now how I need to work better. Work more. Do more. In fact, just more. This church is just what you're expecting right here. I was never really happy when I did all these things, so I decided to start something new. Now I can really do much better and even get a good thing out of it too. So then, what should I say to myself here? How can I be helpful? I want to show you how good you will be if you listen to my story and follow along. But you have to do something yourself too. You have to be active too. Not passive by any means. Not anything passive. It might sound crazy, and it might scare the hell out of you too, but that is only because we are so used to seeing such an amazing view, we never thought it could exist outside of our brains. But we did this, and now the entire universe will hear about it. We all live here. This is it, the time has come. It's time we take hold of the opportunity to become better people, not just for us, not for the others, but for ourselves. And then everything will be good. It will all work out, everything will come together into a nice harmony. We'll all just sit back, relax, and enjoy each other's company like the real humans we are. Like brothers and sisters in blood. We'll have it good now. Because when the moment arrives, when everything seems like it will go to shit, you know, it could go one way or another way. Well, we're looking pretty damn good, aren't we? We're ready to go with our plans. I got some cash on hand. I have a business, a house, car insurance. So, man, this was a big risk, but boy, did the payoff. Just about all those who heard the message and understood that we needed help here today. It helped all of us understand that we weren't going to get through all these things without working our asses off for this shit. That is so true. That's exactly what we're doing here. That's right. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what exactly it means for us to make money fast. That is an issue I've already been hearing some concerns about from members within the church. How can you monetize your life and life better? That's a very good question, which you'll find all answers to in this homily of mine I'm about to present here. Please do not take a rest. This is really important, so you all better stay alert if anyone is asleep while I speak at the next service. That will be grounds for expulsion. The rules and regulations are all in the new brochures, which I just received today. Thank you to whoever gave them out. They did great. Now, we must keep in mind our own limitations. I think it goes without saying that none of us can achieve financial freedom, and especially in this nation where we're living. So what would we want with such things? It's not like a lot of money is ever really going to come into the church, even with all your best intentions and such. People seem to think there is some trick to it. And yes, that does sound like fun if that works well. If that makes you happy, then go with that. Because we need you guys right here, right now, and in fact, this might be an even better position for everyone involved to make it work out. You don't see all those big corporations that are run by men like me, running their own stores, selling whatever products or services they offer or promote directly from their factories or from anywhere else. Those corporations sell what they need, and only those things will help them be more successful and profitable. So if you can get a hold of your finances and learn to be smarter about those things, well, then you might be one of them. Or you might even just simply decide that you do not want to sell any goods or provide any services of any kind whatsoever. At least not for those big wigs up at the top, though sometimes that may be hard, but you probably know already. And if they're too good to be bothered, they have plenty to keep themselves entertained and busy, as you can no doubt tell by reading this pamphlet of ours that is now available for download from the internet. Now, of course, not everyone who attends our church does work for those types of companies in the capacity that wouldn't make sense, but they do tend to work somewhere else where there is also likely to be a big business kind of environment where it would make sense to do certain things. We can do much better. We do deserve to have much more. I say to all those who are lucky enough to belong in our community, and that includes all of you in our audience today, that the time is right now to begin thinking about getting involved, to work smarter, because there aren't nearly enough people working like us yet in this business, but soon there will be plenty of competition coming soon from all across the land. I think they call it big corporations. That seems about right. So that means everyone needs to get their acts together quickly, because soon enough they're going to get to us too. And by this time next year, there'll probably be another one here too. So what's wrong with that idea? This is our church. We're going to have many more services soon. But before we go ahead with anything else, I have decided to reveal myself to all of you. This is just between us, because it wasn't easy getting this information out. Not at first anyways, so why bother hiding it? It doesn't mean you have to keep this a secret either. It's just something that might be good for you to remember when dealing with me, with anyone in authority around here. That includes everyone, and it includes our customers too. Not just those from our own area. It applies everywhere. We have already begun working directly with the public, so there should be plenty more opportunities coming along the pipeline soon. And with this in mind, I want each and every single person from within the church or outside of it, because I'd like everyone to think carefully about doing business directly from yourself now, rather than letting us do it for you, or waiting to purchase whatever goods and services you happen to need from elsewhere, wherever that may be, no matter what country they belong in. And remember, don't expect free service when all you do is take our stuff. That's how people work, and it's time we took our fair share too. We deserve much more than the pittance you people give us. You should do us the honor for helping you with this, helping us in our struggle. You ought to pay us for that. That way, at least there's always some value added, and then maybe it could eventually bring about something like equality amongst all people. But probably not, because we would be rich. This is only if you choose to help yourself by following my guidance. So please listen closely. Please consider what I have to offer to all of you today. Because there are others out there who would do well to get involved in something like this with their lives right here. I'm offering up my knowledge base and my ability for them to use to help themselves improve their lives forever. You may wonder why I'm doing this now. Why now? Why not back a few days or years earlier? Well, the truth is, even if this had been discovered or invented by someone else before, who cares? So what? They didn't do a damn thing about it. All they were doing was hiding from everyone, hiding themselves away somewhere safe, not letting any outsiders know. In reality, though, I should explain my actions to myself, even if you can't quite figure out why I would try something so radical. After all, I already did make a whole bunch of money. A lot. And I got rich doing it. Bishop Blammer Whitehead smiles. So you see why I think this could be useful? So, now here it is. Here's my explanation for everybody. As for myself, I was really excited about this. I thought, hey, that's pretty neat. Maybe this could become my next step, a way to get more involved with the community. Maybe some great idea I'll take hold of and run off with forever. Maybe it's going to make us rich and famous, who knows what. But when I first heard of the idea, it just seemed incredible. The concept itself, it's kind of crazy. It sounds absurd, but at the time I felt that it would be such a novel way of earning enough money. A perfect idea, or almost too good, because I was told this information came from a group of very talented physicists. These types of things are just amazing. It could be huge if you get started with it right. And with me as your mentor, the first thing I would ask you all to do, after joining the church, of course, is for every single person out there in the audience today who isn't familiar with any such topic of discussion in the field of science to find out everything they can about this issue so they have more confidence when it comes down to investing yourself and committing your finances into any kind of program. We aren't asking much, really. All we need for any kind of money to come through us is some commitment, dedication, and loyalty to what we're saying and how it could really transform our world. We must get involved. I think you should be excited. There are no guarantees with any project like this, but if it turns into something worthwhile for humanity, then we will definitely reap benefits beyond your imagination. That doesn't mean we don't care about anything else, however. Because that is just one more reason for those among us to participate. And for them there is certainly something special, something amazing, something you may think impossible. That's why we've included several extra services which won't charge you any additional money other than what I mentioned above already, because there needs be value received for our efforts in helping bring change in the world. As you will now discover, we are not alone. We don't have to pay money, buy fancy clothes, or do expensive things in order to achieve success. Our purpose here today is simply to bring forth our message about our beliefs as believers of God and show that these things matter. Even though most people today probably think God exists, that God wants good things to happen, that it is natural for human beings to enjoy life. They believe all this to be true, yet many refuse to act upon these things even though it would seem so foolish. Many refuse, because when you are in control of your own actions, you are free, and freedom brings great power. That isn't always necessarily good, but in our case, it does help. Give us control over ourselves again, and that means much more than having just one person rule over someone else. For example, imagine if we could eliminate world hunger today. Imagine if there wasn't a famine, where that war didn't occur so often. Imagine if there could be no such thing anymore because we stopped doing them forever. Well, that sounds pretty impossible right now, but I think once you try to envision it, you might see it all work out much differently. This world should be made into heaven for every individual. That includes men and women equally. Not for our entertainment only, though. Maybe we'll take an hour or so here today to play games, watch movies, and listen to music or sing hymns together. Just to relax from daily life and enjoy it more. In fact, you never have any worries ever again about getting anything done. Ever, ever again, ever again, ever, ever. That would be wonderful. We would have paradise right here in my neighborhood in Nick. But first, we have some things to achieve, some tasks to complete before then. The main one is this, that the idea should spread. It doesn't matter whether or how many join up with us. We needed to start working on something better soon enough. Like, say, maybe building a community-style environment right here on the planet somewhere. Maybe we can make it somewhere more attractive, more fun than the typical everyday life experience has become accustomed to. With less stress, no responsibilities whatsoever. For example, if you're not in school, working, etc. I am thinking specifically about the people who are lucky enough to attend school here. You know, those types of students. They usually tend to have some special privilege, but not us. We had plenty of problems ourselves with school here too. I myself didn't really have many issues with it because I was pretty lucky to get into Nile. The reason? I'd say the real reason would be more along the lines of having no friends, no family support network at all anymore. That caused us to miss out on any real academic development. I never had any opportunities. But here I am anyway, because of all sorts of other things, like my work. But really, this church helps us out tremendously. Not just financially, as many of those types who join here, they usually end up doing better afterwards. We provide them something like friendship, and they get something they need as well, a purpose. You see, everyone has one, just some are different. And those kinds of individuals don't always appreciate us because our way is often much easier. We make more money, have greater stability in their lives. This place is great. You don't have to worry about where the rent's coming from every month. You just have it. All you have to do is go down and sign some papers and everything gets taken care of on top of it, although that's probably not what you mean right now anyway. No worries whatsoever. We do that. In fact, we even provide free food services. Meals are complimentary. You'll get something good too. Some extra income, extra money, or whatever else you can use or enjoy from having some extra cash on hand, so long as there are no strings attached, like giving them our souls when you die. And no, it will be nothing like going out to get drunk or having a fun night partying. It'll be something completely different altogether, and hopefully not just as exciting. You may think otherwise, of course. Maybe I shouldn't give away too much, but if you want something truly special, something you can actually believe in yourself, just come here. This isn't some scheme, not even a marketing ploy. It's real, very real. And most importantly, there will always be someone right on hand ready to help you. Someone that knows what they're doing too. Believe it. The people of this church are your own families, our closest friends. No need for any formalities, no reason for secrets, and we are absolutely sure the last person would be able to tell whether or not this thing might work better in their favor. Of course, I am hoping you'll all follow suit after me and do similar work yourself. You could really become somebody. You could be something special, something important. It does make life much more pleasurable when everyone else gets along. And if everyone works together, why not? You never know unless you try. Maybe it's going to turn out differently than expected, and perhaps for some that won't necessarily be better than not bothering at all. So we really need you guys here with us to do this, or else it won't work. This is what makes this whole operation viable. Otherwise, we don't do so well. So please help make sure things continue to run smoothly for us all. That's one important issue too.